So good turn-based tactics games can be hard to find. Not as hard as, say, a good RTS, but for those consistently trying to scratch that XCOM itch, there's always a few spots on our Steam wishlist for a few more games like that. This was originally going to be a video on Steam Next Fest demos, but most of what I enjoyed were actually turn-based tactics games, or tactical RPGs. And it started to feel like maybe those games, along with a few others, really deserve to have their own video. So with that out of the way, here's 10 upcoming turn-based tactics or tactical RPGs that you may want to have on your wishlist. These are in no particular order. First up is Knights in Tight Spaces. There is a demo for this that I definitely recommend trying. I played a bit of it and I really enjoyed what I played. It also seems to be a sequel of sorts to Fights in Tight Spaces, which I recently purchased and played a bit of. I plan to play more of it in the near future once I finish StarCraft and Sea of Stars, and you can actually expect a video on all three of those at various points in the future. But anyway, this game stands out for a variety of reasons. Partially the art style, which is a hand-drawn sketch-type look that's different from their previous game. I also think the stylish combat animations are really a standout as well. Additionally, having played a bit, I would say the other thing that's kind of a standout is that the enemies act in a specific order and they can damage one another. This gives you opportunities to push enemies in the line of fire or in the path of an enemy that's moving forward. It really gives you another level of strategy. It also means you need to be conscious of this movement so you don't find yourself in an undesirable location in the line of fire or in a location where an enemy can reach you. This was very satisfying throughout the demo, and I can imagine if it scales up, it will create a lot of complex puzzles to solve. This is a card-based game and a roguelite, which I did want to call out both because they're starting to wear out their welcome for some people. So do keep that in mind. However, for me, I'm definitely looking forward to this. No release date on this one at this point. The next one up is Project Haven. This was shown off during Summer Games Fest during the Guerrilla Collective showcase. Unfortunately for that team, the names displayed during that showcase did not match the game that was actually on screen at the time. It was very difficult to find them, but I'm glad I did. This is coming sometime in 2024, and it's a squad-based tactics game in what seems to be a dark sci-fi setting. The game will feature solo and co-op play and definitely evokes XCOM vibes. It looks like the gritty campaign will actually be voiced and motion captured. The game will feature RPG character progression, where you unlock new skills and improve attributes. There will also be advanced weapons mechanics that look similar to XCOM loadout choices, like which ammo to use or which grenades to bring depending on the mission you're actually working on. It also sounds like the combat is fairly deep, with an ability to use stealth or do things like hack locks or demolish walls to reach enemies. The Steam page notes that it's a story-driven campaign that is, as I mentioned, fully voiced and motion captured, which is impressive given that this is a true indie, and by that I mean they're self-published, and it looks to be their first game. Very much looking forward to seeing some more of this sometime this year. Next up is a series of words I never expected to say out loud. Tactical Breach Wizards. This is another I played during Steam Next Fest, and it seemed to get fairly popular during that time frame. It's another tactics game, but a totally different style than, well, anything. The combat looks like it's going to be super deep. While there weren't that many abilities on display in the little bit that I did play, the ability to rewind time and see into the future, at least with one of the characters I was playing, is absolutely going to make this game feel different than anything else. Also, the writing here is fantastic, and I mean really good. Very funny dialogue that is very smartly written. Honestly, I won't tell you I played that much of this, because I didn't. I played maybe 15 minutes, but in that 15 minutes, I was 1000% sure that I knew this game was going to be a game that I was buying. And I generally don't play more if I already have decided that it's a game I'm going to purchase. So, if you enjoy tactics, weird settings, and amusing dialogue, this really needs to be on your radar. The demo was extremely good, and it's coming very soon. The game is actually currently planned for an August 22nd release. At some point, there's a very good chance I'll end up making a video on this game. I'm just not sure when I'll get to it. Okay, next one on the list is Metal Slug Tactics. This is fantastic. The art style is amazing. I've known of the mainline series, even though it's something that I haven't actually played. But yeah, the art style is fantastic, as are the animation, the audio, the soundtrack. Absolutely amazing presentation. The gameplay is also pretty fantastic as well. Every character functions differently with different weapons. There is a main weapon and then a special weapon for each with limited ammo. There's also abilities you gain access to as you move your character that give you more unique options to deal with enemies, like a drone that can reposition a character, friendly or enemy. At one point in the demo, you get to jump in a tank and use the tank to mow down enemies. This does seem to be a roguelike, which I'm personally all in on, but I know some people are tired of the genre. So, again, just letting people know. The overworld map seems to have some FTL vibes where you're making choices about which path to take, depending on what you want to gain from each location. So yeah, this looked really good. Overall, this is one I'm super excited about. It's actually been on my radar for a year or two after one of the summer presentations, or maybe the Game Awards, not sure. Anyway, after playing it, it's everything I hoped it would be, scheduled for a Q4 2024 release. Next is Dead Season. This is another from Steam Next Fest, and a very pleasant surprise. At a glance, I didn't expect much, but the concept alone was enough for me to give it a shot. Dead Season is a turn-based tactics zombie survival game. Using a team of 4 characters, you make your way through levels, attempting to scavenge items and weapons while trying to stay quiet and stay ahead of the zombie horde. This game has a tremendous amount of possibility if they make the most of it. The incorporation of a noise gauge, which forces you to balance the guns that make a bunch of noise with melee combat, which are a lot quieter, is a really great twist. Additionally, having to scavenge from the level really felt great as well. The game does need some work still, however. First, I didn't love that between levels I lost everything I scavenged. I think this may be a missed opportunity to really lean into the zombie survival piece. Then again, the game would have to be less generous with the weapons, so I guess it's a balance. I also kind of wish that, particularly with this setting, some of the squad could die versus a level just starting over. But overall, I enjoyed the demo, and it's now sitting on my wishlist. Definitely worth checking out at release, which looks to be set for 2024, although what I played felt like that may be a little soon. So wondering if this may get pushed off a bit into 2025. Next up is Dead Weight. This is a turn-based tactics RPG. In Dead Weight, you'll explore a world of floating islands on an airship in search of loot. The game features fairly deep skill trees across 15 classes. It also apparently has a multi-classing system, which in theory will allow you to create some pretty unique playstyles. There is a demo out for this, although I haven't actually had a chance to play it, but for now this game's still on my wishlist. I definitely like the look of the combat, the customization with the skill trees, and the multi-class system, and overall the art style. This does appear to be a true self-published indie, and it looks to be their first game based on a Steam search. So, hopefully this goes well for them. Dead Weight scheduled for a Q1 2025 release, according to the Steam page. Okay, number 7 on the list is Kriegsfront Tactics. This is apparently a turn-based mecha tactics RPG, according to the Steam page. You know, one of those many turn-based mecha tactics RPGs that everyone's always talking about. Innovative genre titles aside, this does look to be very cool. Visually, it has a very PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 style on the graphics, although they're definitely more polished than a PlayStation 2 game. But still, it's got that style that's kind of making a comeback recently. This looks to play similar to most tactics games, but there were a couple things that stood out, in addition to the setting, which is in an alternate 1970s. First, the level of destruction here looks really impressive. The fire and explosions appear to be plentiful and really look great. The other thing that makes this game stand out are the mechs. You build a squad of customizable mechs, then you take these mechs and make them do battle in highly cinematic combat. And it looks great. Also, I will call out that this game seems to have a prologue, which I'm going to guess is very similar to a demo, that's out right now that you could try. Which again, I hope to try soon, but I haven't had a chance. This also is a true indie, although they do appear to have self-published quite a few games. Definitely not their first. No release date on this one, but I'll definitely be checking it out at some point after release. Number 8 on the list, Every Day We Fight. Every Day We Fight was honestly not on my radar until I started searching for one more game to add on this list to make an even 10. However, it is definitely on my wish list now. So this is a turn-based tactics roguelite. What is unique here is that you are in a band of fighters that are caught in a time loop, which I personally find to be an interesting twist. The combat looks very similar to XCOM in some ways, although you do seem to be able to aim quite a few abilities, which could be interesting or could be tedious depending on how it's implemented. I also want to call out that this is being published by Hooded Horse, who seem to have an eye for great games lately. with some great games like Against the Storm and Manor Lords being a couple recent noteworthy titles. Overall, the time loop, the publisher, and the look and feel have this pushed up my wish list. Currently showing a release date of sometime in 2024 like so many of the others on this list. Alright, number 9 on the list, Menace. This is also a 2024 release according to Steam. Menace looks to be a tactical RPG by the creators of Battle Brothers, which while I have not played, I was aware of the game, and it carries a respectable 88% very positive on Steam. So that team clearly knows strategy. One of the standout features seems to be the use of tanks and mechs, which you usually don't see in a tactical RPG or even a turn-based tactics game in general, although I will say a couple games in this list do have mechs or tanks in them, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I don't feel like I've seen them typically. The story page doesn't say too much about story, but it mentions that you'll be controlling a group of Marines tasked with pacification when a new threat emerges. That, plus being an RPG, definitely has me intrigued. There could be something interesting here. Again, no specific release date other than 2024. Alright, number 10 on the list is Mars Tactics. This is scheduled for release sometime this year. This is another turn-based tactics strategy game that has a lot of XCOM vibes with more destruction and even faster, holy crap what just happened moments than you'd see in XCOM. I played a bit of this in a Steam Next Fest, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. One of the standout features is the mentioned destruction that will even deform terrain, which you can even use as cover if you have your soldiers climb in. I'm basing that off of the video, I didn't actually try it during the demo. But I do distinctly remember the destruction both working in my favor and very much not working in my favor when a group of my squad all clustered together and an enemy explosion basically wiped them all out. Things in this game happen very quickly. Aside from the destruction, it isn't doing too much different from what I could tell, but honestly, I'm not sure it needs to. A deep destruction system and leaning into the XCOM inspiration is at least enough for me to be interested. Planning to pick this up sometime after release for sure, currently scheduled for sometime 2024. Also, I've got one bonus game that's not actually a turn-based tactics game, but it likely shares a similar audience. So, number 11 on the list, which is a bonus, is Grit and Valor 1949. This is actually a real-time tactics roguelite set in an alternate history World War II setting. The game also includes mechs and has a focus on using terrain to your advantage. You will have the ability to customize and upgrade your squad of mechs. Overall, this just looks really great. And so while it is a little different from most on the list, I felt like I couldn't not call it out. I happened to run into it while trying to make this list, and yeah, I could not include it. So that's 10 turn-based tactics or tactical RPGs that are upcoming, and then also one bonus game that is a real-time tactics. If there's anything I missed, feel free to throw it in the comments below. I'd appreciate it, and I'm sure many others would watching the video, because I think we're all looking for more games like this to throw on our Steam wish list. The next video will probably be on Played Up, which is going to kick off a co-op focused Operation Backlog style series where I really focus on co-op games. And then after that, it will be back to a normal Operation Backlog video, which will be, more than likely, it'll be StarCraft. And then Sea of Stars should be coming sometime after that. So anyway, if you're a normal viewer of the channel, you can expect more of the normal videos soon. I just couldn't help but put this top 10 list together just because there were so many that were standing out from Steam Next Fest and from Summer Games Fest. Really felt like these deserved a shout out. So with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.